Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. It has been a minute since I last posted a video, and that's just because I have been going through a lot of stuff this month. I kind of knew I was going to be going through a lot, but I didn't expect it to kind of like push me back so far. Some of you guys follow me on social media, so you kind of saw that like I got into a flare, I overloaded my plate, things got out of control, stuff like that. So it's kind of what's been happening to me. That's why I wasn't able to post a new moon video. I'll try to post a full moon video later this week, but we'll just see what happens because there's still things moving and stuff like that. So in the meantime, I would like to talk to you guys a little bit about what exactly is ways that you can be helpful for me while I'm on this journey, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people kind of like watch the videos, but they don't really interact. Like it's the same consistent people. So if you could just like the video whenever you do like it, that would be great. If you could also leave a comment if something resonated with you, that would be awesome as well. Or share with people who seem to be like into this sort of thing and want to get more into it. That'd be great. On my Etsy, I still have my journal. And I still have my basic astro cards up on there. They're still up for pre-order. That'll end like mid-November. And then I'll put in a big order and send them out to people. Another thing I've recently started doing too are these little cute little magnets, or you can get them as a pin. And that's something actually I'll be doing more individually, not really on Etsy or anything like that. So that'd be something you'd message me about on social media. So I just kind of wanted to get that all out of the way. If this is your first time watching me, welcome. Thank you for sitting through that. Basically, I'm just kind of trying to make things work, if that makes sense. And I really do have a passion for this. Like I've been trying different jobs recently, and it really just keeps coming back to like, this is what I actually like to do. This is what I really enjoy. And it's just something that I really want to focus more of my time and life on. But there's been conflicting messages from spirit about like what exactly it is that I need to do going forward. I know that usually means that you're not as in tune with spirit, but I do feel like I'm being forced to kind of like try different avenues out to see exactly what it is that's best for me, because I'm trying out things that like I never would have tried out before. I'm trying to have like new experiences or try out different stuff and see if this works for me or if that doesn't work for me. And also kind of have that experience too to kind of like talk to people about this stuff as well, like other people who are looking for work, other people with disabilities, stuff like that. I feel like this type of work leads me to, having some type of opinion on those things and being able to share and reflect with other people about what exactly would be the best option for them based off of, maybe some experiences I had or something like that. It's really all it comes down to. I'm also still booking readings, of course, too, so you can contact me about booking a reading. I'm going to be adding a yearly prediction for next year, and I'm also thinking about adding transit horoscopes as well. That'll be something like very new though that I've like just started doing. So if you're into horoscopes and want to try it out, then you can DM me on Instagram or wherever it is that you follow me from, and we can have a conversation about it and possibly see if I can meet your needs in some way for that. Okay, I just have a few notes for Scorpio season. It's going to be from October 22nd to November 21st, so obviously it's already in Scorpio season, even when I'm recording this. I meant to do it last week, but I was in a flare and my body was hurting, so I just skipped ahead. But we have acting out obsessions here. Scorpio season marks a time of increased intensity with personal relationships as an attempt to connect deeply. You might have noticed you're having deeper conversations with the people in your life. You're wanting to connect with them on a deeper level. You're telling more personal stories. You're letting people know what your triggers are, things like that. Our intuition will also be increased, showing us what we are meant to see so we can make an adjustment. I was just talking about how I'm trying out all these different things and seeing like what works for me and stuff like that, and I'm sure other people are dealing with that type of stuff too. It's like you're feeling like pulled to something, like driven one way or the other way, and it might not work out that way, but through that way you're able to come up with another idea to problem solve the issue, and stuff like that. Emotional extremes and shallowness will not be tolerated. So this means that like whenever you do feel something emotional, it's going to be extreme, it's going to be super extreme. It'll be something that's like so overwhelming. I've been being so emo since Scorpio season started. Scorpio is my rising, so it's in the first house, and then Mercury being in Scorpio as well, is it's like I'm trying to learn how to communicate better and like represent myself like through communication in a more solid way, if that makes sense. I know some of you guys are probably like, what? But that's kind of like how these transit things works and how to like communicate that type of stuff. And then like a lot of us are not going to want to deal with people who are shallow anymore. Like maybe before people could get away with it with you, like maybe it was like, oh, okay, like whatever. But now it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, I can't connect with you authentically, so I kind of just don't want you in my life anymore. And that ends up being a difficult decision to make, but many times it does end up being the best thing. So it's really up to just like following your heart. And this is a time for healing as well. So this is a time for making decisions, kind of like cutting people out of your life who aren't really meant to be there anymore. A lot of us have done cord cutting in the last like month or so, or even longer, like maybe longer in the year. But as all of these planets went from retrograde to direct over the last like month or two, that's been like a huge opportunity for people to kind of like actually start going forward with things that were pulling them back and pushing them back. And for a lot of people, that was relationships, jobs, places you lived, like something where you felt like it was holding you back. And then now you had the opportunity to release it and let go of it and say goodbye to it. And now that's opening up opportunities for you, if that makes sense. Okay, let's get into our actual readings. So this is going to be divided up by sign. So you can choose your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, whatever it is that you feel compelled to look at, you know. I didn't do any like prepping ahead for rising signs or horoscopes or anything like that. So don't worry so much about like which one is the truer one. You know, this is really just going to be based on spirit and intuition and just the cards that happen to be picked for your particular sign. So let's just go ahead and get started with Aries. Right out the gate here, we have conjunctions. So there's a positive connection and positive energy with you right now. This might have to do with the fact that there's no opposition with Mars and Aries during Scorpio season. We have Sagittarius here, so masculine, mutable fire energy. So this could mean that maybe your plans are changing often and it's working out for you. It's turning out to be a positive like connection for you. We have Jupiter, growth and personality. So it's kind of like these are areas of your life where you are receiving growth for doing what it is that you're actually supposed to be doing, if that makes sense. So anywhere that Jupiter is in your chart, whenever you do things that reflect that part of your chart, then that's whenever you start actually seeing like a lot of growth for yourself, you know? And then we have Cancer, so feminine, cardinal, water. Taking steps forward, being the one to actually like make an impact. So with the growth, this tells me that like, I think emotionally you're feeling like you really want to start something. And I feel like you're getting answers from the universe that are telling you yes, like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. But then I also feel like you're being forced to be adaptable with that Sagittarius energy. And this might also have to do with like an opportunity to move somewhere or something like that. Like maybe you need to be more adaptable and adjustable whenever it comes to like what you're willing to do to get what it is that you want, what you're willing to do for this growth and expansion that's going to be happening in your life. That's what I have like so far already. We have 8 of Wands. So in Scorpio season, you're going to be very, very busy. And that's over with that Cancer. So whatever it is that you're like taking steps forward to start working on, you're going to be extremely busy with it. We also have 5 of Cups. So I feel like there was some type of like mourning that's been happening in your life. And that's probably what this emotional decision making is coming from. Is like being worried about this thing that you've let go, that you've been mourning over time. It's kind of like been inspiring you to be like, you know what, I'm just going to take my power back and I'm going to start doing something different. Because we have 8 of Swords here too, which tells me that you might be feeling kind of trapped. And I think that's where that adjustment is playing in as well. And maybe even the masculine energy too is like feeling kind of like out of control. And fire. So fire and water are both very emotional elements of the zodiac. So they're more known, like water is more known to, you know, of course, be like actually upset, like crying and like emotional that way. And then like fire signs are known for having outbursts and being angry, and that's like their like prime emotion. So I feel like you've been having a lot of conflicting thoughts about something in your life that's ended, something you're mourning, and having issues like letting go of, because this is telling me here that like there's an issue of letting go or feeling like you can take your power back. And then it's making you like super busy too. Like you just kind of feel like everything's out of control. And maybe that's why your emotions might not be in control either. I have here released judgments that you might be holding for yourself. And that's here with this conjunct. So like positive and compatible energy, I think, is going to be like embracing somebody in your life who like doesn't really hold judgments of themselves. So that kind of like holds like up a mirror for you. So that you're able to understand exactly what it looks like to not hold judgment for yourself. You might be working with somebody on this. And it could be somebody you already know who has been with you through this tragic situation. And they might be able to be like helpful towards you. They could be a Sagittarius or they could be a Cancer. Actually, we have Sagittarius energy again, but this Temperance is reversed, which tells me that there's not much moderation. And for some of you guys, I do think that this is a relationship with a Sagittarius. For some of you guys, that your relationship is kind of like all over the place and doesn't really make sense. And this is causing you to like not really want to process the judgments you might be holding for yourself. Like maybe you're just kind of like letting it go and not really allowing yourself to like process and grow and stuff like that. And you guys might also be like on bad terms at the moment. We have Libra energy here too. We have Justice. So this tells me that there's, usually when this happens, like usually when Justice pops up, I would say that maybe it's important to kind of like look at things from both sides, because like there's a balance that needs to be done there, you know, like that some people, like both sides are right. There's three sides to every story, right? Your side, their side, and the truth. So whenever we get so like caught up in what our side is, or even like start believing what their side is, then it starts to become confusing and there's like a loss of control and there's no growth there either. Like if you won't take responsibility for decisions you made that led you into a certain situation, then you're not growing. You're not expanding. You're not like learning more about yourself and embracing your dark side. You're kind of just being like, all of this stuff happened to me. This person did all this stuff to me. Like everything in my life just happens to me. I have no control over it. Whenever it's like you do have control over the people you spend time with, the activities you decide to do for yourself and stuff like that. You do have control over it. Sometimes it's hard to realize we have control because we're in limited situations. And I see here that you do feel very limited, especially within your own emotions. So I get the feeling for this that it's more of about, I think there is a situation in which there is a right and a wrong, but maybe it's getting confusing on like what really is true. And I would say that my advice for you that Spirit is like kind of putting in my head right now is to release blame. Blame might be like the issue right now. We have Knight of Swords. So this tells me to like jump forward, like for something that you're trying to pursue. Like now's the time to like just, what's it called? Now is the time to just sort of embrace what it is that you're looking for. Your own like personal energy is driving you forward. And this has to do with being busy in that morning. So like maybe you really want to get over what happened. So you're like pushing forward and driving forward. It's also with that cardinal water too. So these emotions are causing you to be direct and like maybe be brave and maybe like do something different in your life. And I feel like that's a really good direction for you to go in. We have the Justice reversed. So we had it upright earlier and then it popped out again. So that is a major connection for me, that there is some karma work that needs to be done for you in order to release yourself from your own internal prisons, if that makes sense. So this is like kind of what you'll be diving deep on during Scorpio season, is kind of like working through that stuff, like, and trying to find harmony and honestly deal with your karma. Like if you keep being in the same situation over and over again, like ask yourself why, like why does this keep happening to me? And instead of being like, oh, poor me, I have no control, it's more of like, you're just not learning your lessons. Like every time that this thing happens, what's your immediate response afterwards? You know, is it like everything's wrong with that person or everything's wrong with me? Or is it more of like, I feel comfortable in this situation with this person because I was raised in a environment where I was treated that way. And instead of recognizing that that environment was wrong and that what I'm pursuing is wrong, I'm just going to keep on like acting as if I have zero control over my life. So that's kind of like it's important for you to figure out like what exactly it is your karma is. We have 9 of Wands here. So building up some sort of boundaries. And this is going to be with that releasing judgments and then like releasing the imprisonment you feel inside. And this will create a foundation for you. So you really have to set boundaries whenever it comes to judgment. If you have a lot of judgmental people in your life, this is where it'll be important to embrace those boundaries, because it'll be like, hey, you can't like talk to me that way. Or, hey, I really don't appreciate the judgment that you're putting my way and stuff like that. And if the person who's judging you is maybe a parent, they're probably going to be disrespectful in return, because that's just they have in your entire life treated you this way, and they're not going to just stop after one conversation, you know? So that's why it's important to like continue to work through that and learn your karma, and then like keep your boundaries. Like sometimes establishing boundaries is easier than holding them. And you wouldn't think that when you first start establishing boundaries. Like establishing boundaries is so difficult. I used to cry whenever I would tell somebody like, hey, what you did really hurt my feelings. And I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that. I used to want to believe that I didn't have any feelings, you know? I have an Aries Mars. I would just be all like direct with people and either like call them out and be mean to them or like something like that. So trying to be like actually constructive when creating a boundary with somebody was like a very difficult thing I had to learn. And then you start with that part, and that is like very difficult to start. And then it's recognizing the people who pretended to be okay with your boundaries. So you know, felt safe with them again, but then they're wanting you to drop the boundary. They're wanting it to be just one conversation, and then now it's over. And then now they can go back to treating you the way that they were treating you. And then that's whenever it's important to be like, hey, we already had this discussion about this. And it's not okay that you're treating me like this, you know? And that many times can end up being harder. But I feel like if you do this important work, we have Queen of Pentacles here. And this kind of tells me that if you do this important work, then I think it will be an opportunity of growth for you. Like you'll be able to kind of like start understanding yourself at a deeper level, and the moderation will come back and things like that. And like the stability will come back. I have 8 of Wands again. This is Sagittarius energy again. There's a lot of Sagittarius energy here. But this is once again being very busy. This is going to cause you to continue to be busy, but it'll be important for you to figure out where exactly you want your time and effort to be put into. Okay, these 2 final cards here, I feel like kind of go together. Oops. We have the Devil and we have 10 of Cups. So this tells me that you have a choice to make, basically. Do you want to, the choice for you is to go back to being emotionally unstable and not having any control over your emotions and feeling like you're constantly chasing after something that isn't really happening. The morning for you keeps coming up and you feel like imprisoned in yourself. Or are you going to go down the path of stability? We have busy on both sides here, but I think that the one on this side is kind of like busy developing in growth rather than busy living in the past. So if you like want to embrace growth, and we have Justice up here, by the way, too, and Justice reversed over here. Whoa, you definitely have 2 choices to make with all these double cards here. Look for people who are positive and that you are compatible with, and who are also embracing growth and expansion in their own life. Allow yourself to become busy with growth and stability. And allow yourself to kind of like release the idea of like holding blame for somebody or worrying so much about who was right and wrong. It really just comes down to like, how does this person make me feel? Whenever I'm around them, do I feel good? If the answer is no, then you spend less time with that person. It's like literally as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a big breakup unless you're in a relationship, like a romantic relationship. But like friendships and stuff, it doesn't have to be like this huge, like major, like release. It can just be kind of like, you don't participate whenever they make you feel bad anymore, you know, like maybe you guys go to hang out and they start being rude to you. You can set that boundary and be like, hey, I don't like when you talk to me like that. And then whenever you hang out with them again, they do it again, you leave. Or if they're rude to you over text, you leave them on red. Like those things, like they're going to act like you're being confusing, but you're not being confusing. You're being consistent. And what scares emotionally immature people the most is honestly emotional consistency. If they can't change your emotion with their actions and make you react, they don't feel safe around you. And that's because they don't trust their own emotions and their own self. Their entire sense of self is based on their current emotion. And we don't want to live that way, right? We don't want to continue to be emotional, driving forward, constantly hitting these walls, reliving triggers and trauma, feeling trapped inside. We don't want that. We want to feel more in control with our bodies. So that's what's going to be the message for you guys during Scorpio season to kind of like work on, okay? All right, thanks for watching, Aries. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time. Okay, hello, Taurus people. Okay, first up, we have 12th house. So this is solitude, self-sabotage, releasing things, allowing more transformation to come into your life because the next transition is back to the self, right? So we kind of like go through this period of like, the first, you know, through the 12 houses, you know, like it's kind of like a process of what's important, and it can be, you know, the hierarchy of needs, like there's like the basic needs of like shelter and stuff like that. A basic need for us would be the self and having a sense of self. And then once you have a sense of self, you can work on house 2, which is stability. After you have a little bit more stability, you can work on communicating more properly, you know? So that leads us all the way through to the 12th house. And if we haven't really been doing like what we need to be doing through these processes and these cycles, whenever we get to the 12th house, we're going to self-sabotage more likely, because we're going to feel kind of like our lives are out of control, like we didn't really get a say in what happened to us and things like that. And it'll cause self-sabotage. So you'll sabotage your relationships by being passive aggressive, rude, attempting to condition other people into not confronting you about things or to not talk to you about things. And this can sometimes be like kind of why like Taurus gets like a bad name for being like, because we can be emotionally abusive, honestly, because like we're so stubborn and hard-headed, and we also always think we're right. I'm a Taurus sun. We also always think that we're right. When I was a younger person, when I was a teenager, I was very self-righteous. I believed that I knew everything and that anybody who questioned me was lying to themselves and that I was right. And like, that's just not a way to like communicate with other people and travel through this world. That's self-sabotaging. If you start talking down to people and being overly self-righteous, you're pushing people away. Nobody wants to be around someone who's like that. Nobody wants to be around an angry bull, you know? We have Libra here. So this is masculine, cardinal, air energy. So this is going to be a little, I think a few of you guys are going to be a bit more indecisive is kind of the message I'm getting here. So, oh, it just got like super bright in here. It's been raining all day. So, okay. So, yeah, a little more indecisive. And you guys might be, I'm guessing, wanting to mediate a little bit more. We have square here too, which is productivity and work. So I feel like it's important for you to be working on yourself and making sure that you are kind of spending time alone, because maybe this indecisiveness would make it easier for people to influence your decisions on things. And their influence might not be something that is really actually good for you. It's just like their opinion, or like they have an ulterior motive or like something like that. So it's important for you to figure out what work is actually important for you, and then like trust your inner voice when it comes to figuring out what to do next. We have Ace of Cups here. So it tells me that for some of you guys, there's a new emotional journey that you're kind of like going on right now. Of course, with the 12th house that we were literally just talking about. And then, yes, 2 of Swords. So difficulty making a choice. There's a really difficult choice in your life that you're struggling to make. And it's something that it's like, oh, if I say yes, I'll get this outcome, but then I will miss out on this other thing. If I say no, then I'll miss out on that. But then, you know, so it ends up being a difficult decision. We have Queen of Cups here. So remember to be empathetic. I think another thing too, sometimes I think this goes for earth signs in general, is like we don't really like talking about our emotions very much. So we're going to be a little bit more like have a lack of empathy for other people just because we're in some type of emotional state. So instead of being like, oh, other people still have their stuff going on, we're going to be a little bit more like, I don't even want to deal with that person's crap because like they are upsetting me because of whatever reason, you know, and not like being open. I can see a refusal here to see things from a new perspective, and I feel like it is kind of with that empathy, and it's something to work on right now for you is really what I'm getting. 4 of Swords reversed tells me that you're tired of resting, you're tired of like sitting around doing nothing. That's also with that productivity and that work. So maybe at your job, you guys like, you got sent home and maybe you're tired of the way that things have been going. Maybe you're tired of your lack of progress. I'm getting that as well, especially with this 12th house. It's like you're hitting the end of something and you want to like go forward to the next level, but you're not able to for some reason. Maybe your job isn't promoting you or noticing you as well as much as you want them to, or something like that. We have Ace of Wands. So I can see that you do have some type of idea of how you want to get out of this situation. But maybe the decision is like too difficult. We have the Hermit here, so Virgo energy. And this is also about isolation and being introspective. So whenever you're feeling indecisive about something, it'll be very important for you to spend time alone and be introspective about what's best for you. We got Queen of Cups again. A second time. So it's super important for you guys to have empathy for other people. I think I might be getting the feeling that maybe some of you guys have relationships with people that like aren't very considerate of you. So maybe you want to like give that back to them. And I can understand like wanting that like equal exchange of like, you don't get me like type of energy. But I'm also getting the feeling too that it's just kind of a waste of your time I'm getting the feeling as well that maybe there's some people in your life that you are meant to cut off because they don't make you feel good about yourself and you're tired of hearing about their same problems because they never do anything to fix it. Like, that's where I'm thinking that lack of empathy is coming from. And maybe it's important for you to kind of like finally make that decision to kind of like start disconnecting from that friend. We have Wheel of Fortune here, but it's reversed. This tells me that you're on your destined path and everything that's happening for you is meant to happen because you're going to the next level, you're increasing to the next level. But I can see like some resistance there. Me personally as a Taurus, there's a lot of confusion around what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I really feel. A lot of people say it's because you don't have a very strong connection with spirit at the moment. And I would agree with that because I think that confusion and not being sure and stuff like that is like a part of like, what's it called? Like whenever you like have a spiritual awakening, it's not just like you're awake and your whole life changes. It's like there are moments of doubt. That's why faith is so important in every religion, like including spirituality. Faith is incredibly important. You have to like trust that the universe is taking you where you're meant to go. And if you're a person who likes to know ahead of time, Taurus energy, hello, stability. If you or somebody who wants to know what's going on ahead of time, it can be hard because it's kind of like, well, is that the right thing to do? Or should I do this? Or like, I don't want to let go of this. This is a good opportunity. But like in the end, it's not really going to be a good opportunity for you, you know? So it's like, there's definitely some resistance there and also some unluckiness. I've heard that things have been rough planetary wise for us Tauruses in general. So we have, Two of Pentacles reversed. So this tells me that there is a very like a lack of balance in our lives. And I can totally feel that. Like it does feel like it's just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. We have Temperance reversed. This is Sagittarius energy. But this also has to do with like moderation. So maybe you're like giving into old habits again. It's right here under this like tiredness and like tired of being tired. And then that like new idea that you have, that new passion idea, but there's no moderation there. So that kind of tells me that like, maybe this idea is something that like you really struggle with like manifesting and having happen out loud, or maybe you're not taking care of yourself anymore. It's popping up into my head like bad eating habits, not exercising, things like that. And honestly, I've fallen into that. I've become like much more lazy. Like, and Tauruses are kind of known for being lazy, but it's like, I just like don't feel good most of the time. So I'm like usually laying in my bed and I'm not really doing stuff. And like I haven't uploaded in a while because of this and stuff like that. So it's like this like lack of motivation has been an issue. We have Ace of Swords reversed. There's also a lack of clarity. It's like we're unsure of where we should step next or what we should do. And that isolation is going to be important to like kind of like figure out what exactly it is that should be the next step. And then we have competition. We have Five of Wands. So definitely feeling competitive and like comparing yourself to other people, which I think is where that lack of empathy is coming from as well, that we were talking about earlier, is like comparing yourself and being competitive and feeling like, why is it happening for them and not for me and stuff like that? But like maybe you're just not doing the right things. And honestly, that hurts too for myself to hear, because it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have these ideas of stuff I want to be doing, but then I have this like internal dialogue that's like, nobody would care about that. Nobody would want to invest in that. Nobody, you know, and it starts making me feel like I don't know what I want to do or where to go and stuff like that. So it'll definitely be important to like tune in whenever it comes to these things, and to kind of like figure out where you are creating competition where it's not there, and maybe try to find more grounding exercises in your life so that you can have clarity on like where it is that you're supposed to go next. So that's what you're diving deep into for Scorpio season, Taurus. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time. Okay, hello Gemini. Let's see what we got here. We have 8th house, which is sex, death, and letting go. So it's important for you to do some of this internal work whenever it comes to those 3 dark topics. The 8th house is all about the darkness. We have the self and personality here with the 1st house. So that's going to be a part of kind of what's going on here too. So maybe there's some darkness around like your personality and your sense of self. We have Saturn. So authority and maturity here. And then we have Aries, masculine, cardinal, fire. Okay. So immediately I'm getting the idea that there's some impulsiveness and there's also some sort of like rebelliousness going on for you. And it might be, you might be attaching it to your sense of self. Like maybe it's like, oh yeah, I'm like much darker than you think that I am, or something like that. But then maybe at that point you are not living up to like what Saturn is asking of you. So like your authority, the authority in your life and how you're meant to mature might be being stifled, because like Aries is the baby of the zodiac, so they're going to struggle more with like thinking ahead and like stuff like that. Like they are very direct. They're the most cardinal energy there is. They'll start something immediately. They'll get an idea and they've already started. But sometimes that keeps them from like holding themselves accountable whenever things like do kind of fall apart, or like finishing things through because they didn't really think about it and stuff like that. So I feel like that might be something you're kind of tying to your sense of self right now, and it might have to do with like a really big event that happened in your life that has to do with sex, death, or letting go. Some type of like dark event happened for you, and then now you're trying to attach yourself to like this impulsive idea that came from it. Let's see what else we got here. We have 6 of Cups reversed. This tells me somebody from your past has come back up. This could be an ex, it could be a friend, and this is kind of a part of that impulsive energy. Maybe this person came back up and it triggered a past memory for you or something like that. We have Page of Pentacles here. So this is kind of about like learning to create more stability for yourself and kind of like receiving the information that you can. So maybe this person coming back caused you to look more into things that have to do with like what happened. I have 5 of Pentacles reversed too. So this is kind of telling me that like, this tells me that you might be feeling lost about what you're supposed to be doing. Like this is a transitional period in your life, so it's not going to last forever, but you might be feeling extremely lost, and maybe I'm struggling to let things go, which is where that 8th house is here. 2 of Cups, so I have soulmate connection, and that's down here with the 2 houses. So like your sense of self, and then the sex, death, and letting go. Through this experience, there's something that has to do with soulmate connection here. So like maybe you'll meet somebody soon once you start embracing yourself a little bit more, or maybe you have met somebody and embracing who you are is causing you to have to let things from the past go because you're in a major transitional period. We have the Star reverse. This is Aquarius energy. And this is also telling me too that like you might have given up hope on something in your life. I don't think it's this soulmate connection. I think that you guys are still either in contact or you're about to meet very soon. But I do feel like you've given up hope on like who you think that you are. So I think you are at a big transitional period, 100%. I mean, it says it a million times, but I think that you really are like letting go of who you think you're supposed to be. And maybe you are embracing more of like Saturn's energy of like doing what you're supposed to do instead of being rebellious and like trying not to do that. We have 4 of Pentacles here. So this is about like saving for the future and looking ahead. And I feel like that might be important for you to kind of like shift your focus on that and like think a little bit more about like, how can I protect my energy? How can I make sure that other people aren't taking from me, you know? Because sometimes that can happen for Geminis. It's like, you guys have 2 parts of yourself, the light and the dark. And if you don't embrace both sides, then it can create a lot of internal conflict and confusion because it's like, am I the good part of myself or am I the bad part of myself? And it's like, you're both, you know? And it's okay to be both. You just have to recognize that like, oh, my bad side is coming out right now. I need to reel it in. Oh, my good side is being a little bit too much. Am I making promises I won't fulfill? You know, like just kind of like ground yourself a little bit more. And I feel like whenever it's coming to the future, that's kind of like what's going to be important is for you to be like realistic about where you want to go with your life. I have Page of Cups reversed. This actually is telling me that maybe your soulmate came into your life, but you are feeling like you don't want to get your hopes up almost. So you're like shutting down and you're not being your normal playful self. I kind of feel like you might be throwing a little bit of a pity party, but we'll see. That's just kind of like what came into my mind. The Fool reversed. So you don't feel ready. You probably don't feel ready for this relationship is probably what this means. And it could be somebody who did come back from the past and maybe you guys have always had like a soulmate connection, but there's been issues in the past that kept you guys apart. There shouldn't be anything toxic though, because whenever you're in a soulmate connection, it just feels right. And you wouldn't like hurt each other on purpose or anything like that. Like if you are hurting each other, that's a karmic relationship. That's not a soulmate connection. Because soulmates like there's no jealousy, there's no competitiveness. It's like this person just makes you feel like they belong in your life, you know, and that you guys are a part of each other and stuff like that. It's not really like an abusive situation. But I feel like something did keep you guys apart in that way, or maybe you're just not feeling ready. Like maybe they're not abusive towards you in any way, but maybe you're like getting triggered by this connection. I have Two of Wands reversed. This tells me that you've stopped looking elsewhere, which could be a good thing when it does come to the soulmate connection, but maybe it could be scary as a Gemini. Like maybe it's kind of like, I don't want to stop looking other places, you know? Like I'm used to feeling restless. I'm used to driving to do other things. I'm used to like always like shifting and changing, and I don't really want to stay here. And then, yeah, we have like temptation here and desire. So it's kind of like you're being tempted to maybe run away or maybe do something different. And then I have Eight of Cups here. So you might have walked away from a relationship before. Maybe it was the relationship before you and this soulmate reconnected. Maybe there's a relationship you had to let go of. And then now you feel like there's a few options. Like either you can go back to pursuing the person that you left behind, or you can start this new relationship with this new person. I personally would suggest just staying single by yourself and then just talking to whoever makes you feel comfortable. But if there's any type of like abusive situation, then yeah, I would get away from that. But like, you don't have to like make decisions like right now. It doesn't have to be like this person or that person. It doesn't have to be one relationship or the other relationship. It can literally be like just spending some time alone, spending some time like working on yourself. We have Ace of Pentacles here. So pretty soon an opportunity is going to pop up for you to be able to take on, and it'll like, you'll be able to gain a lot from this situation. And I can see kind of that you're not really ready and you're not looking for it, but it's coming to you very soon. So it might be important to kind of like do whatever like shadow work you're needing to do about like feeling like you deserve this happiness, because I get the feeling you don't feel that way right now, in order for you to take that opportunity when it comes. And then, yeah, I have Six of Wands reversed. So this also tells me that, like, not feeling very victorious, not feeling like, you know, you have control of yourself. So whatever dark situation happened to you is, like, it's not who you are. You know, we're not our negative thoughts. We're not our bad experiences. We're not our past. Those do play a role in how we act and how we react. And it's really just plays a role in our conditioning. And any negative thing you feel about yourself is you were conditioned to feel that way by something that happened, you know? And so it's important to work through that conditioning and recognize like, oh, I'm feeling this way because I've been abandoned multiple times in my life. So I suffer with like abandonment issues. But it's like, you're never abandoned if you're whole here, you know? Like, sure, maybe somebody could abandon you physically, but like if you're in a situation where like you're no longer like ignoring red flags from other people, then you're not really going to be put in a situation again where someone's just going to leave you high and dry and pack their bags in the middle of the night. That's not going to happen to you anymore, because you're not going to be engaging in relationships like that. Many times in my personal experience, Geminis are usually the ones to pack their bags in the middle of the night and just leave. So that could be some important work that you need to do for yourself in like figuring out like why exactly you might always run. And that could really help for like this future relationship. So that might be the shadow work you need to do right now, is like, why do I always run? Why do I push bad opportunities out? Something that just popped in my head now was like, why do I embrace negative relationships and then push away positive relationships, you know? So that's just some stuff to think about for Scorpio season. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time. Okay. Hello, Cancer people. Let's get into your messages for Scorpio season. We have Pluto here, so power and transformation. There's a sense of getting your power back through transformation, you know, not allowing yourself to keep going down the same path that isn't working for you. We have Aquarius here, so masculine, fixed air. I think this is telling me that for some of you guys, you're going to need to be a little bit more opinionated and stand up for yourself a little bit more in Scorpio season. And then we have Mercury, communication and learning. Mercury is currently in Scorpio, but it'll be going into Libra very soon. And it's going to cause a lot of us to want to like mediate a little bit more and like talk to people from like a equal point of view, be balanced, like stuff like that. So that might be something you might have to be dealing with coming up in Scorpio season. Let's see what else we have here though. We have the High Priestess. So your intuition is very strong. That's usually pretty common for water signs in general, but your intuition lately is extremely strong. They're saying that the veil between the spirit world is very thin right now. That's why a lot of us are having like intense dreams and we're feeling our intuition a lot harder. So you definitely are in good communication with your intuition at this moment. We have Nine of Cups. This tells me some of you guys are avoiding taking care of yourself and putting yourself first, and that is classic Cancer. So I'm not even going to go on at length because you know what you do. We have 10 of Cups here. So there's an opportunity to kind of like grow in your relationships and have harmony and things like that. And I feel like your intuition will be leading you there. So if you like are getting this intuitive nagging feeling that like somebody isn't right, and it's not really like a anxiety feeling, it's more of like just a like actual like, okay, this person isn't right for me, like I just feel it, you know? And don't allow people really to like convince you out of it, because sometimes people get scared. Like let's say that you both know the same person and you reach out to them and you're like, hey, I feel like so and so is like gaslighting us a lot and like not really being like truthful with like who they are as a person and stuff. And then the person you're talking to gets scared because they really like that this friend you guys have in common or something. And then they're going to be like, no, what are you talking about? Like, you have no idea. And they're going to get really upset and react. And like, that doesn't mean that you need to change your opinion now. Your opinion is still valid. It's just kind of like that person isn't really prepared or ready to like accept the fact that this friend that you guys are dealing with or this person in your life that you guys are dealing with needs help and isn't being their most authentic self. We have the moon here, so this tells me that there's some illusions here. And also, I'm going to take this to mean very in-depth dreaming. These dreams are communication for you through spirit. So whenever you have these dreams, make sure to like write them down in a dream journal or like analyze them or something. Like pay attention to your dreams because it's teaching you lessons. And it's communicating with you through that way. We have the world reversed, so this tells me that you have gone through a huge transformation in your life recently, but you might not be feeling like you really learned anything. Like it might be kind of like, oh, all this bad crap happened to me in 2020. What the hell, you know? But it's really just more of like there were lessons that you were meant to learn that will start manifesting into your life very soon. So it will be important for you to kind of like pay attention to your dreams, understand what your intuition is communicating to you and stuff like that, and stand up for yourself a little bit more. Yeah, we have strength here. So like make sure to be like clear about like that you stand up for yourself, that like you understand like what your needs are and that you're communicating them properly to other people. If there's one thing we know about Aquarius people, it's where we stand with them. They're not really, if they're being wishy-washy with you, that means that the Aquarius person doesn't really like you, but maybe they can benefit something from you. You know, not saying Aquarius people are like users, because like they don't really think of it that way. They think of it more of like, if you're going to go around doing all this crap for me anyways, then like, sure, you know? But like if they were actually like really about you, then they would be like acting like they were about you. They'd be like doing things for you and making sure you're taken care of and defending you and stuff like that. But if they're not doing that, then that means that you're doing all the work. And that is a very like, what's it called? That is a very like Cancer thing to do as well, is to like do all the work in a relationship and then be confused and wonder why this isn't an equal exchange. And it's like, well, one, you might be pursuing relationships with people who don't give you in return. That's a very common Cancer thing too. There's like a control and power about being the motherly person, the person who always gives. So then you might be attracted to people who never give to you because you want to be the one in the power of giving. You don't want to feel weak, like you need somebody else to come and take care of you. But it's not about being weak. It's about equality. You know, if you're always giving, the person's always taking, that's not an equal relationship. So it's really important for you to have that strength within and figure out like what exactly it is that you need and want. And if people are like half-assing their relationship with you, then that's like telling you right there. We have the wheel here. So this tells me that you are on like you are on a destined path, and what's happening for you will be powerful and transformative. So kind of just allow these feelings in and allow yourself to analyze them and follow your intuition and what it's telling you to do, because it is leading you to harmonious relationships. Ooh, we have 9 of Cups again, but right side up. So this tells me that once you go through this transformation, you're going to be more likely to want to treat yourself a little bit more, put yourself first, which is great. I love seeing it with Cancer people, because I do feel like a lot of people with Cancer energy are just so hell-bent on trying to control the way that other people perceive them. And I know that that's not really how you guys see it, because it's an emotional attachment. But it really is like just kind of like, if I do this certain amount of nice things for this person, their opinion of me is going to change. Whenever it's like, you have no guarantee of that. Whenever you really should be focusing on people who give to you in return already. Those are the friends and the relationships in your life that you're meant to pursue, instead of ignoring those and being like, okay, that person gives to me. Okay, that person's on lock. But I have this other person who doesn't appreciate how good I am. And I need to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that they know that they're important to me so that they can return that energy back to, like, that's too complicated. it's not that difficult to have relationships with people. And you don't always have to be in control. You don't always have to have the power of the relationship. You just have to have power of yourself. We have the Empress reversed here. So yeah, focusing way too much on other people. If I do X, Y, and Z for this person, they're probably going to open their eyes and see how great I am, and now they're going to start treating me different. Put energy into the people who are already treating you right. And stop focusing on people who aren't treating you right. We have the Magician here. So you have the power to manifest your dreams, you know, because we have the dreams here in the world, and you might feel like you don't have the world, but like you do at this point have the power to manifest. And we're getting the High Priestess again. So double intuitive. Like you are so intuitive right now. And it's strong. But you're not connecting with it. You're kind of being like, nah, there's nothing really special about me because, you know, Joe Schmo over there who never recognizes that I'm actually a really good person, like still doesn't see me for who I am. So obviously I have zero control over myself and my life. And it's like, that's not true. We have 9 of Wands here. So boundaries are going to be your key. Very strong. And it's a part of your destiny is to learn how to embrace these boundaries, how to speak up for yourself like properly and like straightforward, how to let people know where they stand with you as well. Like don't be like wishy-washy, you know, like how I was saying that Aquarius people, if they're wishy-washy with you, that's your answer right there. They don't really like you that much, but they have to interact with you for some reason, or they do benefit something from you that you're just giving freely, you know? So it's like, try to figure out like in what situations you might be being wishy-washy with other people or not being clear about what it is that you want and need. Instead of trying to manipulate the person into changing and being what you want them to be, try to be like straightforward about like, hey, I would appreciate it if you would treat me with like this amount of kindness because that's what I do for you. And then if the person is like, no, I never asked you to do that stuff, it hurts. I know Cancers get told that all the time, but that's your answer right there. It's your opportunity to stop pursuing something that isn't happening. We have Page of Pentacles reversed. So that means too that like there's some way that you're supposed to be learning and absorbing this like new information about like how it is that you should perceive the world. But I get this feeling that there's like a block there because I think that you might have an idea of like how the world should work and you're kind of like resistant of letting go of it because you really truly feel like things would make more sense if people would just adjust and do the things I want them to do, right? Like, the world would be a much better place if everybody was as kind as Cancers and as giving as Cancers. But remember that you guys struggle to receive. You guys give all day, but you guys really struggle to receive. And that is usually what manifests into your relationships where you are the one always giving and those other people are always taking. And it can be exhausting too because they're not even being straightforward either. They're being like intense about like the fact that you do things for them, you know, and like that's hurtful. You're nobody's slave. You are an essential team member, you know, and so you should be a part of a team that appreciates you. So that's what I have for you for Scorpio season, for kind of like going in depth with like shadow work and stuff like that. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time, Cancer. Hello, my Leo peeps. Hope you guys are doing okay, because it can be difficult sometimes to be in another fixed signs season, huh? I have 5th house here, so this is your house of creativity. This can also have to do with like romance and like relationships and like creating children. So some of you guys might be like trying to create a family or something like that. We have 3rd house, so communication and learning is very important. We have healing. We have Chiron, which is healing and compassion here. So like the wounded healer. So anything that you've gone through in the past that might be coming up. And then we have Moon here. So emotions and private self. So this is a very moody spread so far for you, Leo, which is kind of like a surprise. But that might be just some of the shadow work you're having to do right now. It's kind of like having to figure out like, how can I solve my problems without like being bratty, like not hating on y'all. That's just like kind of the approach that you guys give a lot, is like kind of like stomping around, you know, not really talking to people, like leaving them on red and stuff like that. And that's your way of communicating that you're upset about something. But you might be being forced at this point in your life, like maybe you're on those terms with way too many people, and it's like you can't just not talk to people, because Leos, you guys are also very loving whenever it comes to your friends and family. You want to be around them. So if you're feeling awkward around them, or you're feeling judged by them, and that's causing you to react in these like really fiery ways, it's not really healing you, and it's not giving you the development and growth that you need at this point. So that might be the shadow work you're going to have to do during Scorpio season. Yep, we have Knight of Cups here reversed. This tells me emotional manipulation. Try not to emotionally manipulate the people in your life. I know sometimes it can come, it's so easy to get into whenever you are being unconscious, if that makes sense. Like if you're just like not really thinking much about like your reactions to people and you're just reacting, then that's a part of like emotional manipulation, because it can cause you to be passive aggressive. It can cause you to it can try to condition others to never confront you about the things that you do wrong, like different things like that. And that all becomes like emotional issues that can really push people away eventually. We have King of Cups, and I think that this is telling you that this is like where you should be trying to reach emotionally. Like not try to do, let's not be Knight of Cups reversed where we're like walking around with an empty cup being like, fill it up, please. Fill it up, please. I don't feel good about myself. Can you please validate me? Like, let's not do that. Let's be more of the King of Cups, which is like the person who is the one giving out compassion, the person who is meeting people halfway, the person who's like, hey, things have been funky between us lately. What's going on? And then like actually be a listening ear and not like emotionally react to what they're saying if it's something that you don't, doesn't make you happy. You could even express like, okay, that kind of hurts my feelings that you feel that way, but I also understand, so like how can we fix this problem, We have Ace of Swords reversed, so this tells me that there is like kind of a blockage when it comes to clarity in your life and like being sure about what's going on. And I think it has to do with this healing that you're supposed to be doing in your life. Like it's just kind of like making you go like full stop, and stuff like that. I have Six of Pentacles reversed, so this tells me too that you might be in a position where you need to ask people for help and you really don't want to. And this has to do with like creativity or romance or something. So maybe one of your relationships is in like a weird period right now and you're not really sure of what to do or how to be clear. And instead of like doing what you should be emotionally, like trying to communicate and connect with them, maybe you're using like tactics that are like a little bratty, like I was saying earlier. I just feel compelled to use that word because maybe a lot of you guys are being that way right now. So it's important for you to be able to like be in a position where you can accept help from others. I get the feeling too that you might have too many options right now. You have too many things on your plate that it's hard to focus on just one thing. You're just like kind of like scatterbrained right now, and it's impacting your ability to communicate and learn. And then we have the Devil here, Capricorn energy, and this is also kind of like temptation and giving into temptation, allowing it to kind of like take you under. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, the emotional manipulation I was talking about is ending up being like a big temptation that's hard to like not do. We got Taurus energy here, the Hierophant. This is about looking for spiritual guidance within yourself. So you might need to like be a little bit more grounded, get in touch with your emotions and your private self, and figure out like why exactly am I like communicating with people in this way? Because it's also with the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups over here. So it's like, why am I making these choices to communicate poorly with people whenever like I do have the ability to interact with them in a positive way? Because you're very creative and you do get along with people and people love being around you. You know how to be the star and the center of attention. But why is it that like one-on-one is a struggle? What's going on internally? Why is it that when you're with yourself, you don't feel at peace? What's going on, We have Death here, so there are endings in your life. I feel like they are happening for you. I don't get a sense of like resistance, really. I'm getting more of a sense of like maybe maybe there's just not much clarity about what it is that you're supposed to be letting go of. That's what I'm getting, really. We have King of Pentacles here, so I can tell you're very driven lately, and maybe that's what's stressing you out, is you're like so driven to have material success, or so driven to like look like a success to other people, or like something like that. Like you're just so driven, And now that you're in this position where you have to ask people for help, that might be part of the struggling of like, maybe a part of what you need to let go of is that pride, you know, like wanting to be so self-sufficient that you'll let yourself drown whenever it's like, ask for what are they called, a lifesaver, like reach out for one, you know, get people's attention instead of just like trying to figure it out all by yourself. I also have here 2 of Swords reversed, so this tells me there's a very difficult decision you need to make. Yeah, and it comes from like having to reach out to somebody and talk to them. I feel like you have a few ideas of who you might want to talk to, but you haven't reached out to anybody yet. So that's going to be a difficult decision for you right there. I see here too that you're like so tired of carrying the big load, and you're so tired of being the one to always do everything. And that's why communication is going to be important for you too, because like it might be tempting to always be the one that people turn to always be the one that everybody can ask for things, but like sometimes you need help too. And then I have Ace of Cups here. So this definitely tells me that there is an opportunity for you to embrace a new emotional journey for yourself, a new like way of life. And I feel like if you let go of that idea of you want other people to see you as successful, that's where a lot of your healing might come from. Like maybe you've always had a chip on your shoulder that like, you know, that you're supposed to be something more than what you are now, but you feel like your family has always held you back, or nobody understands you, or like something like that. And now would be the time to release that so you can do some healing. And it could actually open you up to more like creative ideas and, you know, like this emotional work that's going to be helpful for you in the long run. Not everything is about like success right now. Like I have to constantly be looking so I can jump on the right train that's going to go out of town and bring me to my life, you know, and stuff like that. It's like, embrace the now. Be present with who you are now. And be conscious and mindful of your communication with other people. Don't be the Knight of Cups reversed. Be the King of Cups. Be somebody who's compassionate, somebody people can talk to, and somebody who's clear about their emotions, okay? So that is my message for you, Leo, for what to do during Scorpio season when it comes to shadow work and things like that. Please leave a comment to let me know if that resonated, and I will see you next time. Hello, my Virgo people. Okay, we got a lot of career growth. We also have some changes as well. We have Capricorn, Feminine, Cardinal, Earth. So more Earth energy here. We also have the 10th house though, but this is also kind of like double Capricorn because it's about career status, power, self-image, or public image more of. And then we have Uranus here, which is about change and liberation. But this is also kind of like about rebelliousness. So in your career path, I can see that you're being a bit rebellious lately, and but you want to be like a self-starter, and you want to start something up that like you think would be good for you in the long run, but it's something that like a lot of people have kind of expressed to you already that they don't think it's going to work out, but it's your life, not theirs, you know. We have the Empress here. So this tells me that you might be giving a little bit too much of yourself to other people. But I can also sense too that maybe you are like kind of embracing yourself a little bit more. Yeah, and like embracing your femininity and like who you are. I also have Page of Swords here. So like communicating more clearly what it is that you need to other people. Like you're like allowing yourself to learn the way of communication. We have Queen of Swords reversed. So this is a reminder to not be cold whenever you're communicating with other people either. You know? And like, yeah, maybe you might be like doing you or something, you know, but like make sure that you are being respectful with your interactions with other people, and that you're not just being so blunt that it's like rude. We have 9 of Pentacles. This tells me that good things are coming. Abundance is coming. You might even already be feeling it and like reaping the rewards from this abundance. And your rebellious energy and putting yourself first is what's leading you to these like big changes in your life. I have the Hierophant reversed. This does tell me that there might be like some disconnection when it comes to spiritual guidance within. Like maybe you're not really sure which direction you're meant to go in, so you're just kind of going and doing whatever. As a Virgo moon, I do definitely resonate with that, especially emotionally. I'm like feeling like I'm being driven and taken around, but like I don't really know what it is that like I'm meant to do right now, especially when it comes to career. So this one's for me too, guys. And then yeah, the Hierophant reversed, like Taurus energy as well. Like I'm a Taurus sun, so this is like a disconnection with myself and my personality, and a disconnection with my spiritual guidance. So try to like, you know, make that connection for yourself as well if you hear like different signs and things like that. We have 6 of Wands here. So you do feel victorious about something. You did do something that like is making you feel like things are on the up. You do have abundance currently, but it's also like a really long and stressful journey you've been on for like a long time. And it's a journey to kind of like figure out like how to have some type of stability in your life. And but it's still developing very slowly. We have 7 of Pentacles here. So you've been planting the seeds. I can see that you've been doing the work to like try and communicate more clearly with other people about your needs and things like that. But that you're definitely still just like waiting and waiting for those rewards to come in. It's Saturn and Taurus. And honestly, I think, no, never mind. We have King of Cups reversed. So this is emotional manipulation. So that's with that Queen of Swords. So let's really try to avoid like talking down to other people, making them feel bad, being too blunt with somebody. I noticed I was being very critical with my fiance recently, so I decided to like try and pull back and not do that anymore. Sometimes it's hard whenever you're a Virgo because you're so overly critical and perfectionistic, especially towards yourself, but you'll do it to other people too. Capricorns are actually known for being that way as well. So it might be like there's that energy there of like being a little like cutting towards people, and it's like let's try to like avoid that. We have the Chariot here, so cardinal water is what we have, but it's also about like charging forward. And this is also with that change and liberation. So like you've been rebelling against like what it is that you feel like you're supposed to do, and it is making you feel a little weird, like spiritually, like you're just not sure if what you're doing is right. But you're still like just like driving forward to do it because you want change in your life so bad. I have the Star reversed here too. This is Aquarius energy, but it's about like giving up hope. I think lately you've been feeling hopeless when it does come to your career, and maybe that's why you're trying to do something different. You did succeed in the past with something, but now it's kind of like maybe it's coming to its end, or maybe it's not how you thought it was going to be or something like that. And then now it's like kind of like giving up hope. I have 3 of Swords here. So there was some type of heartbreak that you suffered in the past that you are moving on from. It's not really bothering you as much anymore, but it is a part of this really long journey you've been on. Like, it's just kind of like, when is it going to end? Like, why is it like constantly like a thing? And then, yeah, we have 10 of Pentacles reversed. This tells me that there's some sort of like generational crap that you're having to deal with. And I'm dealing with that as well. So there's like these seeds planted, and you're like doing your best to communicate however clearly you can. But this is a really long journey, and it's like, it takes a long time to like let go of that stuff. Okay, we have Queen of Swords right side up. We had it reversed earlier. So this tells me that it is important to be wise and articulate and express what it is that you need and all of those things. But make sure too that that you're not being biting, and you're not being rude. Just make sure that you're being very clear about what it is that you need. And I feel like that can help with this like hopelessness as well whenever it does come to your career. Like, it's kind of like you need clarity whenever it comes to like what you need to be doing going forward, and you have to have like a deeper understanding of what it is that you need whenever it comes to your soul and your heart. Okay, so that's my reading for you, Virgo. I feel like it was shorter than a lot of the other readings, but it also was very like direct. It was very like, this is what's happening. So this is kind of like the shadow work you'll have to be doing whenever it comes to Scorpio season. And I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, hello my Libra people. We have over here Gemini, masculine mutable air. This is like a lot of energy as well. We have Venus, so love and pleasure. And then we have Pisces, feminine, mutable water. So we have mutable twice here already. So that's telling me that you need to make adjustments. And then we have 11th house. So friends, groups, and goals. So there's going to be some adjustments you need to be making whenever it does come to your friends in your life. And these decisions have to be both articulate and emotional intelligence, let's just say. And this is also going to be coming from a place of like love and pleasure, of like how you like to interact with your friends and in groups and stuff like that. How do you want your friends to treat you type of stuff. We have 9 of Wands reversed. So some of you Libra people don't have boundaries with people currently. And how that manifests in Libras a lot is it comes out with like people pleasing behavior, and it also can come out as like kind of like a controlling type of behavior as well. Like, you might not have boundaries with other people, so you're going to kind of try to like go above and beyond to create connections with people. And this can end up leading to destructive relationships because it's kind of like anybody will do type of energy, you know? Like, I'm not saying that, like, because I don't even think that Libras are, like, easy or anything like that, but I do think that Libras are very much, like, you guys have a deep understanding of people so well that you will give a lot of people chances because you feel like you can adapt and adjust to whoever. And also, you know that you're in control of yourself, so at any moment you can walk away. But it also can create destructive relationships that not only affect you, but maybe the people in your life. So it's going to be important for you to have boundaries with people. I have 7 of Pentacles reversed. So this tells me that you're definitely not seeing the results of something you put time and effort into. And I'm getting the feeling that this is a continuation of something that, like, is not growing for you. It's kind of like you keep planting the seeds, but then, like, the plants never come out, you know, type of thing. Like, you, what's it called? It's something that you really have to just, like, let go of. But I can see, like, kind of a refusal there. Yeah, we have 10 of Swords here. So it's time to walk away from this situation. But I feel like you don't want to because it makes you, like, feel good inside to be this person for this other person. Yeah, there's, like, resistance here, death and rebirth. There's resistance of letting go and allowing change into your life. And with the Pisces here, that kind of tells me that it's like you almost have, like, a dream-like idea of, like, how you think that this relationship is. But in reality, that's not really how it is. 7 of Wands reversed, another boundary card. But it's reversed, meaning that you are not keeping strong boundaries. You can see here she's in the crystal ball. And I like to think of those wands as trying to cast a spell on her, but it won't get through. But since it's reversed, that tells me that, like, you're allowing people just, like, into your bubble. You're allowing people to influence the way that you feel and the decisions you make. And you might even feel, like, out of control, like you're not yourself. I thought this spread would totally go differently because I got Venus there. But it's actually turning out to be, like, kind of like a warning spread here. Yeah, we have the Tower reversed. So something in your life kind of showed you that, like, this is not the path for you. And I think maybe it might have to do with friends. I think maybe you might have feel disconnected from your friends right now because you are in some type of relationship, or you're just not keeping boundaries with people, and it caused a lot of conflict between you and your friends. And I feel like your friend group might have, like, fallen apart, or maybe a few people ghosted you or, like, something like that, and maybe you're feeling, like, kind of out of control. And that would explain why the 10 of Swords is right side up, because, like, something in your life did end, but it wasn't the thing that was supposed to end. We have King of Swords reversed. This is somebody who talks down. This is a condescending person. This could have been you. Like, maybe you talked down to your friends because you felt like they didn't understand you. Or maybe it could be the partner that you're engaging in a relationship with. Like, maybe they talk down to you and they're condescending towards you, but you just give them the benefit of the doubt all the time, and you're not actually trying to, like, solve the issue, you know? Maybe there could be a fear of, like, being alone, or, you know, something like that, but it's definitely something that needs to be worked through. It has ego here, you know? We have strength. So you do have a lot of strength inside of you. And it's how you've been able to allow these people in your life to just walk away, is because you know that you're a strong person. But the issue is kind of like not taking more control over yourself, like, kind of like allowing things to just, like, happen, and then, like, now you're just like, well, that's fine. But it's like, you have to be more in control of, like, your own decisions, you know, and, like, how you impact other people with your own decisions. We have 6 of Cups. This tells me that this person who might have been an ex that came back from the past or something like that, and you guys have reconnected, is, like, something I'm getting. Or maybe this could also be that traumas are coming up from the past that are affecting you right now, like, while you're in this new relationship. And maybe you feel like you can right wrongs in this new relationship, because I'm seeing that, like, refusal to change, that resistance towards change. So it's like, it's important for you to be the one to change at this point, but for some reason you're afraid and you're not doing it. And so you're just kind of, like, hoping that this time things will be different. We have the World reversed. You have more power and control over you than you think. And you have gone through something, like, this big, like, transitional cycle that you've gone through has made you stronger, but for some reason you just don't feel that way. And you're not protecting yourself with this lack of boundaries over here. I have 3 of Cups. So this represents, like, friendships and, like, really, you know, key friendships in your life. And this is just telling me that whenever you do establish these boundaries and start working them back up, you're going to meet your tribe of people again. Like, maybe you'll reconnect with the old friends that you lost, or maybe you'll make new friends. Like, maybe this whole situation that happened was meant for you to, like, make more space into your life for people who can be a part of your next steps, you know? And then I have Four of Wands reversed as well. So yeah, this kind of tells me that maybe you weren't feeling very victorious because maybe you weren't feeling very strong, or maybe there's like this weird like idea that you have to be like a different type of person in order to receive love or something like that. I'm like getting all these vibes about like needing approval from other people and like sacrificing so that you'll gain approval from this person, but then being hurt that you had to hurt this other person. And it can be confusing and conflicting. And I hear a lot of Libras like kind of like complaining about that like you guys are so like unsure that it creates a lot of conflict. So that might be some shadow work you have to do during Scorpio season, is kind of like figuring out like what was the decision that you should have made, you know, and how can you start embracing like more of your true self and being more grounded with who you are and not being so dependent on seeking validation from other people to give you a sense of identity, you know? So that's what I have for you. Please leave a comment to let me know if that resonated, and I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, Scorpio people. We have 7th house shadow work, but we are not new to shadow work, right, Scorpio people? We're always doing shadow work. We have oppositions here, so things that are in conflict with who we are, and then we have sun, so personality and life purpose. So it'll be important for you to analyze these 3 parts of your life right now. So what is in opposition of like who you feel like your personal self is? Like, how are you being contradicting? And through figuring out how you're being contradicting is where we can do shadow work. Like, it's kind of like, oh, I see myself as a person who never creates conflict, but I keep on ending up in conflict. Why? And then that's whenever you have to like analyze, like, are you seeking other people that create conflict? Or like, do you actually create conflict and you just like to conveniently ignore or forget that you created that argument, you know? And that's where it can come, that's where it can like, the work can really happen in like embracing and loving and accepting who you really are, you know? So I have Queen of Pentacles here. Some of you guys are feeling very stable. With the Sun in Scorpio, you're feeling like yourself. I've heard that there's not really any squares or oppositions happening right now for Scorpios. So it might be like really good, like direct flowing energy for you. I have King of Wands, which tells me that maybe there is like some opportunity in your life right now that's being blocked. And it's over here with that shadow work. So maybe that is like a part of like the dealing with the shadow work, is maybe not feeling like you're leveling up and not understanding why. I have Page of Cups, which tells me that you're open to new relationships, really, like new friendships, maybe new romantic relationships, and like emotionalness. Like maybe you're more open than you have been in a long time, and you're allowing people to like see your true self, you know, and you're allowing stability into your life as well. You're not like creating like these weird situations. I have 10 of Pentacles reversed, which tells me there's some generational stuff that needs to be worked through, maybe some issues with your family. And it could be part of what's like dealing with your personality and life purposes. It's like wondering like how it is that your family might be holding you back, or like things like that. I have 4 of Wands, so there is some celebrating in your life. So maybe, I mean, it's your birthday. It's your birthday season, so happy birthday, Scorpio. And that might be where that 4 of Wands is from, is kind of like embracing yourself and your personality. You're having your solar return, you know, so like the energy might be high. But I have another card here about lack of progress. This is also like a lack of control as well with this Emperor reverse. This is also Aries energy as well. So I'm getting the feeling that, yeah, there's like some impulsivity, there's some struggling and some difficulties here, and maybe feeling like you don't have as much control as you think that you do. I can also see like some depression too. So I feel like highs and lows for you, Scorpio. I feel like there's going to be moments of like celebration because yes, it is your birthday, but maybe also some depression and sadness because of the things that we've had to let go of this year. Like not only like the way that we've lived our entire lives, and it's hard to let go for a Scorpio too, you know? Not only that, but a lot of us have lost relationships. A lot of us have lost family members during this time. So it's like not only are we losing like our normalcy of life, we're also having to deal with personal tragedies as well. So I feel like there is depression here, which might have to do with that lack of control and that lack of movement, which will be important for shadow work. But you're also in a way like still being open, still trying to have some sort of stability in your life, which is awesome. Scorpios are usually the type to not really let you see them sweat, you know? We have the moon here. So intuition and dream work. Where you're feeling blocked when it comes to shadow work, listen to your dreams, you know? And allow yourself to like work through that stuff and follow your intuition as well. Like, does this feel wrong? Does my reaction feel wrong to what's happening? You know, and figure out why that might be. We have collaboration here to like figure out like a deeper understanding of what's happening. So, You might not be seeing much progress, so it might be important to kind of like talk to somebody you do trust about like what's going on and see what they say, and see if you can create some sort of plan like moving forward for like how to bring more abundance into your life and how to do this shadow work. I have 5 of Pentacles. This is a transitional card, but it is a card of hardship. So you are going through like a hard, rough transition in your life right now. And it probably is like causing problems and creating like issues, especially with family. We have 3 of Wands here. This is creating some sort of stability for yourself. So I feel like you're separating from your family a little bit. And I also feel like you're trying to like embrace who you are a little bit better, like your personality, your life purpose. You want to embrace it more. We have Queen of Wands. You are feeling very creative. And I feel like this will be a good way for you to process as well and kind of like gain back some control, because the next card I have here is 5 of Cups, but reversed. So that's a mourning card, and it's telling me that you're moving on. It's also here with the Sun reversed. So that's like that depression is coming from this mourning. So you did lose somebody, or you lost something that was very personal and not just the pandemic. And let's see, we have King of Wands face up here too. So this tells me that as you're doing the shadow work and the dream work, and you start like actually figuring out like how you really are, and not just like who you want people to see you as, because that's a big part of Scorpio energy too, is being mysterious. So you always want to keep your true self like hidden. You only want people who really know you to like really know you. And even then sometimes you might still test the people who know you the best. So it'll be important for you to kind of like release that desire to have control over the situation, and just to allow yourself to embrace what's happening, embrace like things that are outside of your control. And this will lead you to more opportunities, and this will help you develop a deeper wisdom of like who you are and your purpose in this life and how to move forward. Okay. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know. And I will see you next time. Good luck with your shadow work, Scorpio. It's your season. Okay, hello Sagittarius people. We have 9th house. This is your house. Exploration, philosophy, religion, experiences, things like that. We have Leo here, so masculine, fixed, fire energy. This is also about like being the center of attention and not shying away from it. Sagittarius people usually don't, but we also have Virgo here too, so feminine, mutable, earth. So kind of like adjusting your situation. Virgo is also really big on like being health conscious and stuff like that. So we'll see kind of how that plays out as we continue to pull out cards here. We have 3 of Wands here. So there is like some type of foundation. It's going to be over here with the 9 of Wands. This tells me that like maybe you're questioning your philosophy a little bit more, maybe religion, maybe where you came from. And it's helping you create your own stable sense of self, because you're not really trying to attach as much to your family unit anymore. And it's becoming more about like, who am I? We have 8 of Pentacles reversed. This tells me that you're not working on things you need to be working on. And that's with that Virgo over here. So it will be important for you to kind of like start embracing like maybe crafting more, maybe doing more projects, maybe being a little bit more detail oriented, because right now it seems like you're just not doing it. And that's a pretty normal Sagittarius thing to do too, is to kind of like just not really want to do the hard work. Like you guys are more about like exploring, having fun. Like I was just saying, philosophy, sitting around and just like having deep talks about what is, you know, but it's like that's not something that pays the bills. So you guys do need to like actually start working on projects. We have 3 of Swords here. So some of you guys are dealing with heartbreak or some type of betrayal. That's over here again with the 3 of Wands. So whatever stability you're gaining at this moment, I think is probably fueled by this betrayal you felt before. I see 10 of Wands here too. So this also tells me that like taking on too much responsibility, and this is taking you to a breaking point. I feel like you're questioning your religious beliefs at this point, because you're just like, why is this not working and why am I falling apart, you know? And that is like a really like intense moment to find faith of some sort. I'm not saying it needs to be like a specific religion or anything, but it is just like a moment of like really developing a stronger sense of faith, is whenever we're having to deal with moments where we feel like we're carrying too much, our back's too heavy, and people are betraying us and we're just trying to like live life. Those are moments of like, why, you know? And so that's whenever we start to like develop more faith in ourselves and in the universe. I have 8 of Cups reversed, which tells me that you walked away from a relationship before, but now you're moving on from it and you're kind of like starting to gain more stability in yourself. I have the Lovers reversed, so I think that there was a decision you made. It could have been an impulsive one. It could have been a selfish one because it's here with Leo. And you might regret it a little bit. I mean, it's kind of coming over a little bit into Virgo here, and Virgos are a little bit more people-pleasing. Like, Leos can be, but Leos are like, they're more like going to bully you whenever they're being people-pleasing. Virgos can too, but Virgos are going to be a little bit more like, well, I told you that, like, if you would help, like, if you needed my help, you could have asked, you know. But Leos are going to be a little bit more like, how dare you question my representation of myself to the world, you know. Like, they're going to be a little bit more like that. It's where it's not really as focused on, like, trying to be helpful towards you. So this decision could be like, that could make or break, like, how you fix the situation. Like, are you going to have too much pride like the Leo and not apologize? Or are you going to, like, be more like the Virgo and, like, own up to this decision that you made and work on what you need to, like, going forward? We have the Magician here. So you have the ability to manifest. And I think it will be through projects. So whatever projects you're currently working on will be an opportunity for you to do, like, some magic for yourself. We have the Emperor reverse. This tells me that there might be a lack of control in your life. That's also Aries energy over there. There might be a lack of control in your life and a lack of, like, moving forward. It could also be a poor relationship with your father. Like, maybe he never helped you with projects. And then now that you're older and you're having to deal with these projects that are, like, more adult oriented, that maybe you might be feeling some resentment and anger towards your father for not being there for you and not, like, showing you how to do this stuff, you know? And it's affecting your ability to manifest. We have Judgment here. So because of what happened in this betrayal and, like, kind of, like, taking on too much and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of that comes from, like, judgments you might hold for yourself. So, like, you might be judging yourself a little too hard and thinking that you need to, like, prove that you're important or prove that your space in this world is, like, valid and stuff like that. And if you're able to release that judgment you're holding for yourself, then, like, you will feel more freedom, you know, and that could be a part of the philosophy you're learning right now. I have Knight of Cups reversed. Let's avoid people who are emotionally manipulative, and let's also try not to be emotionally manipulative ourselves. It's with this 8 of Cups reversed that also kind of tells me that maybe that's the person you walked away from was an emotionally abusive person. Like, maybe they were somebody who needed constant validation, and maybe you kicked them out of your life and now you feel like that was a bad decision, or you're not sure of your decision or something like that. And you can own up to it without having to apologize to that person directly. Like, let's say you guys are no contact right now. You don't have to hit them up and be like, hey, what I did at the end of our relationship was, like, not cool and I regret it. Like, you don't have to do that. You can just make peace with yourself. Because sometimes people, like, we can't talk to them about this stuff. Like, sometimes they aren't emotionally there. So to, like, come up with this conversation to, like, apologize to them could just end up being confusing for them because, like, they don't think about things that way. They're more of just like, okay, whatever, like, I barely cared, you know? So it's like, it's more of you holding the guilt for what happened than that other person, you know? They probably have moved on and are already harassing somebody else, you know? So it's like, it's really up to you. And I feel like once you've released that judgment, you're going to receive a lot of abundance. Definitely. I can see it coming in for you. We have the Tower here. And I feel like that has to do with that decision you made. Like, maybe you feel like that decision that you made was outside of your character. Because we also have that Leo and Virgo, which is, like, those opposition, like, energies right there, you know? There's, like, the groundedness, and then there's the fire. And there's the adjustable, but then there's the I won't change my mind. There's the intuitive feminine, and then there's the structured masculine. You know, like, there's, like, oppositions here. And the Tower kind of is letting me know that what you did might have created an internal conflict within yourself. And that's something that, you know, kind of, like, did cause this, like, destruction of, like, who you thought that you were. Like, your false self is, like, falling apart. And this could be an opportunity to manifest, like, who you want to be going forward. And I have 4 of Cups reversed here too, which tells me that you might be emotionally overloaded. So try not to take on more emotional stuff from other people. I can see that out of control feeling. Maybe try to focus on things you can actually control, like those projects you might be avoiding or something like that. Try to put more energy into that. And it's okay to question why and to question your philosophy and your religion and things like that. That's just going to be the energy for you during Scorpio season, is really, like, diving deep emotionally. I feel like Sagittarius people don't really enjoy doing that. Like, you might open up to somebody and then, like, feel uncomfortable around them after that. But just like remind yourself that like that's your intuition. Like whenever you want to whenever you want to talk to somebody and like tell them something deep about you, that's your intuition forcing you to make a connection with somebody, you know? And maybe you could help them because maybe they're dealing with something, or maybe later on down the line in their life they'll deal with something, you know? And what you said will resonate with them. So it is important to speak your mind and be your true self, and kind of like release this idea that you always have to be like super fun or like emotionally in control or like all these things. Like you don't have to be that stuff. You can be, you know, more versatile than that, you know, or more grounded. If you feel a little out of control, like you're not grounded at all, you can be more grounded. You just have to work on doing that because it's not coming instantly to you. Okay. That is what you will have to work on for Scorpio season. And if that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know. And I will see you next time. Good luck. Hello, my Capricorn people. Hope you are all doing well during Scorpio season. We got sextile, so a lot of hard work reaps big rewards. We have Mars here. So with Mars in Aries, there's a little bit more impulsivity. Mars is also in retrograde, so it's an opportunity to kind of like ask yourself why you're doing things, why you're taking these types of actions, stuff like that. We have the 4th house, which is about home and security. And then we also have Taurus, which is also about stability and earth. So you got more earth here. So this tells me that like there might be some conflicts going on at home, and it might be like a lot of hard work, but I think that it's going to end up like working out later. And I'm really getting the feeling that for some people watching this that have Capricorn energy have a family. So you might be dealing with like, I'm really getting the message that a teenager or a child in the home that is having difficulties. So they are kind of like, there's a lot of fighting back and forth, and like you want to be like this stable parent that they can rely on, that they can, you know, trust and stuff like that. But it's really hard whenever you feel like they're disrespecting you. So it's one of those things where it's going to be a lot of hard work to fix things together and try not to give in to the impulses of Mars, you know, try not to like say unforgivable things or like be forceful or pushing. Just kind of like be as secure and stable as you can, and things will work themselves out, you know. I would say also don't be afraid to embrace therapy either. We have 4 of Cups reversed. So this tells me that you're definitely tired of dealing with other people's emotional stuff. Like it's just kind of like it's too much for you, and you're like, I don't want to keep doing this, you know. I have Knight of Wands. So it's important for you to kind of get creative whenever it does come to solving these conflicts in your life and figuring out like how you can do it in a way that's like fun and trusting and like all this stuff. Like, you know, like you can get really creative with it, because I feel like for you in this situation, you know this person so well, like you guys have been together for so long, or they're been a part of your life for so long, that you know them well enough to know that you don't have to solve conflict with them one specific way. You can do it in other ways, you know. We have 7 of Swords. I'm getting the feeling there's some paranoia of like what other people think of you, or like having to prove that you're not like how people think. And this is a very impulsive thing that's happening for you. Like it's stuff that's just popping up in your head, and then you're taking action. You're not really thinking about the fact that like this could just be paranoia or like whatever. Have the Fool reversed here. So this tells me that you're not ready for what you are going through. Like whatever's happening in the home that is making it feel unstable, you're not ready for this. I have 2 of Pentacles, so definitely an imbalance, but we've already kind of been talking about that, so I'm not going to go too much into detail about this imbalance here. But it's kind of about like taking more care of other people or yourself, and like back and forth energy there. I have Page of Wands reversed, so like there's this Knight of Wands energy of like, you know, charging forward and doing creative activities, but this Page of Wands reversed tells me that maybe you're coming up to a blank whenever it comes to ideas. I have Page of Swords here, so this tells me that you're learning how to communicate better. So this is telling me you're learning how to communicate better, and the experiences you've dealt with before are kind of like leading you to that place. But I also have 10 of Swords, so you've had to walk away and let go of a bad situation in your life. And that maybe that could be coming up right now, and it could be like what's causing that paranoia. I have Page of Wands reversed again, so double, like, not really being inspired, not having any ideas of how to solve the conflict in your house, not advocating for yourself or others. We have 8 of Pentacles here. So this tells me, too, that there's, like, a project that you should be working on. And I feel like it will bring more stability and balance into the house whenever you do work on this stuff. And then we have 4 of Pentacles, too. So allowing yourself to, like, save for the future, or think more for the future. I mean, we have Sun in Virgo here and Sun in Capricorn. So, like, embracing planning ahead, you know, and like doing projects that are helpful for the house and helpful for everybody in the house. Like maybe everybody can pitch in together or like work together or something like that. And it'll be important for you to like keep moving, you know. I have 4 of Swords reversed, which tells me that you've been resting for a long time and you're tired of it. And I have Ace of Wands here too, which tells me that you do have an idea of something that you want to do, you know. But maybe the inspiration isn't there. Maybe that's the issue with the 2 Page of Wands reversed, is like maybe there's a lack of inspiration, but you do have an idea of what it is that you want to do. And maybe you're just feeling really weighed down and tired, and like you're tired of waiting and tired of, you know, your life being dependent on what other people do. And I feel like it'll be important for you to kind of like take that power back in the house and do so in a way that's like conducive for everybody, you know, and like works out for everyone. And in a way that's very patient too, you know, like allowing things to kind of like manifest in their own way. Okay, that's my reading for you for Scorpio season and the type of shadow work you should be doing. And thanks for watching. Leave a comment to let me know if that resonated, and I will see you next time. Later, Capricorn. Hello, Aquarius, my aqua people. We got Trine. There's an easy flow for you during Scorpio season. We also literally have Scorpio. And then we have North Node. So this is karma and life lessons. So you're meant to be learning life lessons right now. And they're going to be emotional for you, but they're also going to be something that like is kind of just like happening and free flowing. It's not something where you're going to have to be doing like a lot of active work. It's just kind of like something might come on. You might feel it emotionally. You might even emotionally react. And then it's part of like bringing you onto your life lessons. We have Queen of Wands reversed, so you might be feeling a lot of creative blocks right now. Even though there is like an easy flow with what's going on in your life, there's some creative blocks still. I have here like camaraderie, like you have good friendships in your life and people that understand you, and that's over here with those life lessons. So maybe that's been a part of the karma work you've been doing this year, is to like create stronger friendships and stronger bonds, and that's really manifesting in your life right now. I have Knight of Pentacles. You invested in something and it's not really working out right now. And it might have to do with this like creative thing that you wanted to start doing, but now you're not like taking charge really. Oh, I'm just gonna let you know there's a few reversals here. Okay. We have the Chariot reverse. This is Cancer energy, and this is like not really striving forward. I'm wondering if there's almost like, I'm getting a message of like laziness, like Taurus energy, you know, like not wanting to actually like take any steps forward, like kind of, you guys are fixed. So maybe like you're kind of like being a little bit too fixed in your ways, and you're just kind of like allowing things around you to just happen. And I get too that you've like probably gone through something really difficult this year, and it's causing you to like stay up crying late at night, but I'm getting the feeling that that is coming to an end very soon. So maybe you took a break from charging forward, and like maybe you're not really like thinking long-term plans and stuff because you're trying to get over this issue that's like keeping you up at night. I have 2 of Wands reversed, which tells me that you've kind of like stopped looking elsewhere and you've stopped looking forward, which sometimes can be fine because it's like we don't have to look at everywhere else for happiness all the time. It's within us. But yeah, I feel like for you, it's like you've really like stopped looking outside, and you've stopped driving forward on something. It might have been like a relationship you're finally releasing. And then I have King of Swords reversed here too. So this is like condescending energy. Like maybe the person you're releasing is somebody who's always talked down to you and they don't treat you right and stuff like that. And maybe you're finally allowing yourself to let it go. Like you've tried to plant the seeds with this person. You've tried to like put your whole heart into it, but all it's led to is anxiety and like difficult situations and stuff like that. So now you're no longer looking for ways to solve the conflict with this person, so you're releasing them. We have the Hanged Man reversed here. So this tells me that there's a new perspective you're meant to see right now, but there's something that's keeping you from doing that. It might be almost too easy to just avoid it at this moment, because you're just like not really taking those steps forward or thinking about long-term plans. So it's pretty easy to like not look at things from a new perspective, because like you're just not allowing yourself to even like do anything that's forward thinking right now. I have 8 of Swords. So this tells me too that like the prison you might feel that you're in is within your own mind. But I feel like Aquarius people are like smart enough to know that. Not that people are like dumb, but it's just like a fixed air, you know? It's like if there's anybody who's like pretty sure about like emotional consistency, it would be fixed air, you know? So I feel like you already know that you have to deal with whatever's going on because it's in your head. I have Knight of Pentacles reversed again. So this tells me again that like you are not planting seeds. And I have the Sun reversed that tells me that it's because you're depressed because of this person in your life that you're having to give up on. I have 7 of Wands reversed. So this is an issue. This is a boundary issue. Without allowing yourself to see things from a new perspective and allowing yourself to continue just kind of like feel sad and not really want to move on. That's playing a big part in like not really having boundaries with other people, you know, like you might want to be so easygoing right now and just going with the flow that you're not allowing yourself to like actually embrace like what it is that you need. And then I have the Hermit reverse. So spending too much time in isolation, not allowing yourself to like talk to other people and, you know, embrace these life lessons you're meant to learn. Like you do have this group of friends that are there for you, but maybe there's this like fear that they'll turn on you too, like this other person did. Like maybe this other person like really like talked down to you, they really hurt you emotionally. This was like an intense relationship you really tried to fix, but you just couldn't. So then there's like a lot of like introspection that went into it, which was good at first, but now it's just been too much. It's been going on for too long. There hasn't been enough like healing with that. So like there's this feeling of unsafetyness with other people in your life that like are actually there for you and aren't judging you and won't turn on you. But that fear from that one friend was just really intense. It makes me think it's like was a best friend, you know, or someone who was in your life for a long time, or maybe a family member, just somebody who meant a lot to you that just one day changed and started like talking down to you, treating you bad. Or maybe they always did and this was the first time you really saw it for what it was, you know. So I feel like this is going to be the important shadow work for you during Scorpio season, is to release that person in your life who made you feel bad about yourself and embrace the karma they've taught you, you know, because everybody is in our life for a reason, you know. So there's karma we're meant to learn by relationships that don't work out. You can learn about karma in relationships that work out too, but definitely in relationships that don't work. Why didn't it work? Why were you attracted to somebody that it was never going to work with, you know? And that's really where the karma work comes in. So that'll be important for you guys. All right. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know, and I will see you next time. Okay, last but not least, our Pisces people. What's up, Pisces? We got 6th house, health and service. 2nd house, finances and possessions. And then we got Neptune, your planet, imagination and dreaming. Transcendence, you know? So Pisces people are like pretty dreamlike. They're very like, they don't really live in this realm. You know, some people would say you guys don't live in this reality. But it will be important for you to kind of like think about some stabilities in your life and maybe be a little bit more realistic when it comes to health and service, because you might be being a little bit too dreamlike about what's going on and not really like allowing yourself to, like, sometimes you do have to come down to earth, you know, like you can live in your fantasy world when it's not like harming you or others, but whenever it starts to become like an issue of like you're suffering in these ways, that's whenever it's like you got to come down to reality, you know, you got to come back to planet Earth and let's start fixing stuff, you know. Yes, Ace of Pentacles, there's an opportunity that will be coming for you soon. And it'll be a good one for you to embrace. We have Knight of Swords too, which is telling me like race forward and take it on, you know. With that imagination too, so it's making me think that like maybe you're manifesting this thing that's going to come up for you. Like maybe it's something you've been dreaming about for a while and it's finally happening. I have King of Pentacles reversed. This tells me, okay, it's over here with finances and possessions. I was wondering how that was going to play in. This tells me that this could be either be you or somebody close to you in your life that is splurging way too much financially. They're trying to like show off that they have money, and it's like in a toxic way that isn't really helpful. We have Three of Pentacles here too, which tells me that it's important to work with others whenever it comes to solving this like financial issue, but maybe you aren't really wanting to do that. Or maybe with your health and service, like it's just kind of like you have to work with people on it, and maybe actually I could see it actually like working out. Like I don't see too much resistance. So you will be working with somebody very soon when it comes to your health, service, finances, possessions, things like that. More like home and earthy based things. We have Five of Swords reversed. This tells me that you might not be feeling very confident in yourself, but it's important to remind yourself that like your confidence is important because it's an essential part of who you are. We have Five of Wands here, so high conflict. Okay. Yeah, some conflict in your life, and that might be what's causing you to have this like low self-esteem issue that I see happening here for you. Okay. We have Lovers reversed. This tells me there's a decision you made that you might be feeling insecure about, or maybe that it was the wrong decision for you or something like that. And that's there with that imagination and transcendence, and then also with the opportunity. So I feel like you making this decision did open up opportunities for you, but you still regret it. So that might make me think like maybe cutting ties with an emotionally abusive person. Like it was probably right for you, but you feel like guilt because you wanted to stick it out with them. Yeah, we also have Two of Cups reversed. This tells me that there was a karmic relationship in your life that you were having to let go of. If you haven't let go of it yet, I'm getting the feeling you will have to soon, because this is a karmic relationship. So this is one where you are meant to learn lessons. It's not one that's meant to last your whole life. It's one where it's meant to fail, because both of you are meant to learn a lesson from it and then go forward in your life and in your destiny and fulfill your other life cycles. It can be painful though, like depending on if this person was like a best friend or like a relationship partner or something like that, but they really were like brought into your life to teach you a particular lesson. We have Five of Swords up right now too. So this tells me that like you have to be brave enough, if you haven't already, to kick this person out of your life. I'm getting back and forth vibes, so I think some of you already have, some of you haven't. And then I have here too, with that working with somebody else on something, I feel like that means like connecting with your friends again. I feel like you might have suffered financially because of this karmic relationship. Like maybe this person took a lot of money from you, or maybe they convinced you to not work so you didn't, and now you're screwed because you depended on them financially, and then now you're on your own, you know? Capricorn just popped up into my head, so this could have been like a Pisces in a relationship with a Capricorn that was always taking care of you, but then now you guys are like broken up, so, and you don't have a job or you don't have any type of stability, but like they're okay because like they always took care of themselves, which is very classic Capricorn, always taking care of yourself first. We have Seven of Swords here too, so dishonesty. This tells me there's some type of deception in the relationship and some lying as well, which could have caused the like lack of pride, because it's really hurtful when that stuff happens. And I feel like it's really bad for your health too, like what happened, and like struggling to process exactly like where you're supposed to go next. I can see you've been staying up late at night, like stressed and worried and like possibly crying because of this intense conflict and this like low thought you might have of yourself. But it being reversed tells me though that it's ending, it's coming to an end. You're not going to keep dreaming about this person, worrying about this situation. It's coming to an end. We have Knight of Wands here reversed, which tells me that like there is kind of like you're not feeling much passion for life right now, and it could be interfering with like your ability to feel like you are worth your dreams. But like you do have opportunities coming up, and it will be important for you to be able to recognize them so you can take them on. The journey is almost over. We have Six of Swords reversed. The journey is almost over for you, so try not to like get so caught up in the past, and try to like move forward, because like the past is the past. It was a decision you made, it was a situation you were in, and now you're moving forward. And then we have Six of Pentacles here too. So this is a reminder too of like, I think this is telling me that you should distract yourself with helping others, because we have that health and service. So maybe like volunteer right now if you don't really necessarily have work yet. Maybe try to look for jobs that are in health and service of some sort. Maybe like, you know, reach out to people and see if you can help them in some way, because I feel like that'll really help you feel more fulfilled. And it's kind of like right here, you know, in the spread as well. So try to like look for ways that you can feel like you have more of a purpose, like a higher purpose than just that relationship that you were in. You know, your purpose is much more divine than if a relationship works out or not. You know, our lives are so much more dynamic than that. So that'll be important for you to kind of like process and work on at this time. If that resonated, please leave a comment to let me know. And I will see you next time. Good luck during Scorpio season and all your shadow work you're meant to be doing. Remember to come back down to earth a little bit so you can kind of like solve your problems, and then you can go back to your dream-like state, you know, because your intuition is very important. That's such an important thing for Pisces people, is your intuition is helpful for others, and like your ability to do dream work is amazing, you know, so like it's really good to embrace that stuff within yourself. Okay, bye again for anybody who waited for that last comment. I will see you next time. Good luck.